But with that being said, we're going to move on to the next segment. And I'll be sharing my UFC 311 preview. So, UFC 311, the card is official, and it's off to a good start for the calendar year 2025. This will be the first UFC pay-per-view for the calendar year 2025, starting off with a bang. In the main event, you're going to see Islam Makhachev defend his lightweight title against Arman Tsarukyan. In the co-main event, you're going to see Merab defend his bantamweight title against Umar. And also on the card, you'll be seeing a light heavyweight fight between Yuri Prochazka and Jamal Hill. So it's a loaded card and should have a lot of combat sports fans happy to kick off the year for 2025. Now, I'll be breaking down a little summary of what I do believe could happen or how good these fights will be. When these fights get here, I'll have the fight predictions for you guys. But my preview of Islam Makhachev versus Arman Tsarukyan. Now, this is a banger that's incoming. I mean, there's no better fight to start off the year 2025 at the lightweight division with Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan fighting each other with gold on the line. And this is the best fight to be made at the lightweight division right now, other than possibly Islam Makhachev and a Charles Oliveira rematch. But as I digress, there's some history between Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan. Now, the history goes back to the first time these two respective fighters fought in 2019. Where both of them were climbing up the ranks in the lightweight division. Islam Makhachev won the fight against Arman Tsarukyan by unanimous decision back in 2019. It was basically, going back and looking at that fight, it was basically a grappling affair with both fighters doing most of the work grappling in that fight. But both fighters have gotten tremendously better since then. Islam Makhachev is arguably the #1 fighter in the UFC today, and has claimed himself as the king of the lightweight division. Meanwhile, Arman Tsarukyan has been doing the dirty work, climbing up the lightweight division, and earning some marquee wins in order to put himself in position to get this title fight. So here we are. Now, I think it's going to be a good fight. I think that's going to be a 50-50 fight. Islam Makhachev does have the striking, wrestling background, but so does Arman Tsarukyan. He's a great striker and a great wrestler as well. So, again, both fighters can do a bit of both. This time around, we're going to see it in a 5 championship round format. I think that's anybody's fight. I'm so excited for January 18th to see that fight, but that's going to be a good one in the lightweight division. Now, meanwhile, for the co-main event, you have Merab, who will be making his first bantamweight title defense against Urman. And I apologize, I cannot say their last names correctly, so I'm just going to call them Merab and Urman. But I'm glad that the UFC did not give Sean O'Malley the automatic rematch against Merab, because it was a one-sided affair at the Sphere for UFC 306. I mean, Sean O'Malley just got dominated, completely dismantled by Merab, and that's the reason why Merab has the bantamweight title. So I'm glad, based off of that performance, they did not give Sean O'Malley the automatic rematch in that scenario. But looking at it, Merab already has my respect, because he's stated he wants to fight the best of the best and wants to be a fighting champion. And he's got a big test in his first title defense, fighting Umar, who is currently the second-ranked contender at the bantamweight division. Umar being the cousin of the great Khabib, one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time. So having him in the corner is going to be huge. But I think this is going to be a fun fight, because you have Merab's cardiovascular endurance mixed with his resilient takedown defense going against Umar, who is also a great wrestler, a great grappler, and a phenomenal leg striker. Can land significant leg strikes, whether that's to the head, to the face, to the body, calf kicks, you name it. So I think that we're in store for a treat in the co-main event between Merab and Umar for the bantamweight title. Another 50-50 fight that could go either way with the title being on the line. And then the last fight I'll have for you guys for now is Jamal Hill versus Yuri Prochazka. Now, this is another interesting fight, this being at the light heavyweight division, but because you have two former light heavyweight fighters, both being two former light heavyweight champions, both of them were forced to vacate their titles, and they tried to regain the titles that they never lost, but they both ran into the same problem, getting knocked out by the king of this division, Alex Pereira. So both have ran into the brick wall of getting a championship again, fighting Alex Pereira and getting knocked out. So here we go. If you guys want to view it as this is basically the loser's bracket. The loser's bracket of what happened between those two respective fighters trying to regain the title against Alex Pereira. Now, both Jamal Hill and Yuri Prochazka are knockout artists. Both are known for fighting on the feet, not really strong grapplers, so somebody will get knocked out. The fight will be exchanged on their feet for a majority of the fight between Yuri Prochazka and Jamal Hill. That should be a really fun fight, but I'm looking forward to see who wins that, and possibly the winner can find themselves earning a title opportunity at some point down the line in 2025. So those three fights are definitely going to be very, very, very fun to watch. The card should be great, but those are my thoughts on the UFC 311 card, and it should be a great way to start off the calendar year for 2025.